Jim, can you unmute Tony? Okay.
I'm good.
Yep, I got him.
Okay.
All right.
Jimmy, do you have the boardroom computer on?
I turned it on.
Yep, Shane's got it.
Okay, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
It's to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, Commissioner Kirschner, would you like to lead us in a prayer?
Sure, let's bow our heads for just a moment here. Heavenly Father, we ask for your strength and your wisdom during this time of turbulence. Make the weak strong, the sick healthy, the broken whole, and those who will serve them as agents of your love. The rest of the quote I thought was interesting today. To end this is that it's been said that people are kind of like tea bags. You never know how strong they're going to be until they're in hot water. So give us your strength, we ask. Amen.
Amen. Good one.
Roll call.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Here.
Commissioner Kirchner,
Here,
All right, minutes. I'll accept a motion to approve the digital audio video recording from our previous board session, Thursday, March 26th, 2020.
So moved.
second,
Roll call.
Commissioner Kirchner,
yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes. All right, any adjustments to the budget, to the agenda today?
I think it's a Freudian slip.
Mike.
No adjustments.
Anybody? All right. Administrator report.
Just give you an update, month-end reports. Revenue ended with 3.9. Got to remember that 885,000 was from the Medicaid money. And the auditor's office got the real estate settlement done by the end of the month. So that's why revenue's up. Real estate was 1.4. Our expenses right now is at 5.2. But as every year, there's some bills that we have to pay at the beginning of the year. So that's all I got for today.
All right, commissioner reports. Mike, you want to go?
I think that there's enough on the agenda here that we'll keep going. I mean, I know that we've had some interim discussions and everybody can bring us up to date on the meetings that we have. We spend more time on the phone on virtual calls than we need to go through at this point.
Tony, you got a couple things?
Nope. We'll wait. I'm good.
All right. I've got a couple things. I wanted to share a quote from Abraham Lincoln because I thought it was appropriate. It might not be as good as the teabag quote, Mike, but
That was good, Mike.
And this is an Abraham Lincoln quote from December 1st of 1862. The dogmas of the quiet past are inadequate to the stormy present. The occasion is piled high with difficulty, and we must rise with the occasion. As our case is new, so we must think anew and act anew. I thought that was a really appropriate quote for the times we're living in. And I did want to highlight a few people and groups that are rising. Jake Shaw from Buckeye IT, he's a vendor of ours. He is out doing 3D printing for PPE, sourcing some other PPE. So if anybody has 3D printing capacity, reach out to Jake Schaff. There's some really cool stuff going on there. We were messaging back and forth the other night. And we may have found another organization that's willing to participate and partner with Jake. And so, we need to take care of ourselves here. And in that vein, yesterday on the governor's speech, they are calling on Ohio industry who think they may have the ability to produce some kind of PPE. And so I would encourage everybody to go out to repurposingproject.com. If you're a business and you think you have any inkling that you might be able to participate in making PPE, that's the place to go. That's the clearinghouse. That tells you what we need. And surging PPE is, where this fight's at right now. The other organization I wanted to talk about that is really rising to the occasion is Helping Hands in Seneca County. It's a Facebook group. The other day, it's probably only been a week ago, Jill Goshi asked me to like a Facebook page, Helping Hands, and I was like number 23. It's well over 4,000 people now, and I've never seen a social media group grow so fast. And it's all positive stuff. Hundreds of people just figuring out what they can do to help. And I noticed Andrea Toronto is making masks, and mask orders are probably in our future, but we don't want to take good masks away from first responders. So this is all critical stuff. So if you were looking for a way to give back to your community and you're not sure how, check out that Facebook group. Even if you just post, I have time, I want to help. Just so many good things happening there. So those are two that I wanted to shout out and kind of give a PSA to our community. The other thing I wanted to say is our elected officials have been amazing. My fellow elected officials working with us all the time, all our department heads, and especially our staff, and has been incredibly adaptable. And Stacy, I can't tell you how much we appreciate everything you're doing. It was 11 o'clock last night. We were still on the phone. So I really, really appreciate everybody and all of our county employees. We appreciate all you're doing and how adaptable you're being. And, we want to be here to support you in these difficult times. I also want to point out that yesterday was Census Day. So as we've said numerous times, the census is a tool of political empowerment. Please fill out your census. It's your constitutional right to do that. And we want you to exercise your power. I know there's a million other things on your mind right now, but if you got a card and it's sitting there, please do that. And then, of course, it's election season, I guess we call it now, instead of election day. And if you have any questions on how to get a ballot, make sure you check the Seneca County Board of Elections website. There's very detailed instructions on how you go about getting a ballot. And you can vote for Commissioner Tony Paradiso on that ballot. So
thanks for the plug.
yeah. He's unopposed.
Yeah.
Mr. Unopposed, yeah.
So, those were my PSAs. Anything else before we move on?
Yeah, two things very quickly, Shane. I think it's important to note regarding the election that there is no in-person voting, that April 28th is not a day when you're going to go to the polls. So you have to do it by absentee ballot or to go into the Board of Elections itself. Just to remind people, we're involved in this every day and we know it, but please mail in the ballots as an absentee or go to the Board of Elections and personally vote. There will not be any precincts opened on April 28th for that vote. And the second thing is that, as you spoke, it reminded me that, the bad thing about living in a small community is that everything becomes personal. The good thing about living in a small community is that everything becomes personal. And these times that we have are times that we have the opportunity to show massive support, and we have done that. And I can only echo your words regarding the cooperation and collaboration. Those aren't just words. And if you look at other counties, you know that we are blessed with a group of folks who are all trying to do in their hearts what's in the best interest of those they represent.
Agree. Comment on the health department. I think Beth at the Board of Health is doing a tremendous job. And if anyone has any questions about should they be open, shouldn't they be open, what should they do, really any question, health related, please contact the Board of Health. They're fielding calls and they've got a lot of information published, and just want to direct you there. They're doing a great job.
All right, move back to go ahead. Old business. I guess continuing the conversation about budgets, where we're at on that, and I both of you can speak to this as well, but where we're at with that is we're going to have a budget commission meeting on April 7th. And it's for everybody who doesn't know, it is the budget commission that sets the revenue. And we obviously expect a downward revision in 2020 revenue. And then, at that point, we would want to adjust our budgets accordingly. We don't know what those numbers are as of yet. We can only guess. And, I follow a number of counties around the state, and everybody is in these same conversations of what is the impact going to be. We do have, obviously, money set back for calamities like this. No one expected a black swan this severe. So, the question will become, how fast can we burn our reserves, and how fast will things come back? None of those things we have answers to at this point, but the conversation is ongoing, and we're doing a lot of work on the back end to try and get those answers. So any other thoughts from the other two?
Mike? No, I would just echo that, Shane, that for some reason I lost my voice here, but all the electeds have been very cooperative. I think they get it. This is an obvious situation across the United States, Ohio, and of course our communities. We don't know, we don't want to overreact and make decisions without some information. But the one thing we do know is that this situation is severe, and this budget shortage is going to be a number, even though we haven't defined that number, most probably going to be a number that is going to hurt a little bit and is something we've never seen before. So commissioners, specifically myself, I just want to make sure we convey the sense of urgency to the community, that we get it and we're going to do everything we can to remain fiscally responsible. And we're also, it's just very tough times financially and economically for everybody. So we will, once we get the information, we will need to act. I'm doing all I can to educate myself. I'm praying every day, every night for everybody. And I just think we got to get prepared for maybe not so good news coming up.
Yeah, in that vein, do we want to schedule a commissioners meeting after the budget commission meeting? Is that something that we want to put on the schedule? It'd be a Tuesday, the 7th, kind of a noon meeting or something.
Yeah, I think that makes some sense, Shane, to be as transparent and as quick to respond as possible. Yeah, I do think that is probably.
versus our Thursday meeting.
Well, we can keep the Thursday meeting scheduled at this point, but one of the assets we have is time, and the sooner we react, sometimes the time can be our ally. So,
Yeah, I think it's better to be
I'm good.
more forthcoming than it is to be less forthcoming, right? So let's get it in the public venue as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we want to keep communicating with the electeds. They're part of the solution, and they are all invited to the Budget Commission call. And so I think between now and then we can continue our one-on-one conversations. And again, I'm just reaching out to the electeds to be thinking about some thoughts on how we might be able to navigate through this.
Yeah, and I think the format of the meeting might be a little different on Tuesday, and we would encourage all the electeds and all the department heads to participate in not only the Budget Commission, but also commissioners' meetings. So if there are any questions that we can get answered right away, or anytime they want to pick our brains or get, what our thought process is, that we can get that done sooner than later.
Right.
yeah, and that doesn't mean we have to take action at that moment, but if we can notify the meeting that meeting's happening, and we have it there at our disposal. Doesn't certainly mean that we have to take action. If we still are collecting information or whatever, we can, wait till Thursday. But if time is of the essence, I want to make sure that, especially since we're meeting in this alternate format, that we have plenty of notification to the press, hi Vicki, and everybody else.
Yeah, I think for just for purposes of this meeting, and the largest revenue to the county is sales tax, and we will receive in May the March sales tax numbers. And just without getting into any detail, we just need to look around our community, from car dealers to universities to every business. The sales tax revenue in March is going to be dismal, and that will be the income we get in May. And then, of course, April's revenue will be in June. So this cliff, Stacy opened up with a really nice report. I wish that would be every month. But you mentioned, Commissioner Thomas, the burn rate. I mean, we are going to hit a cliff in May with our revenue. So we need to make some of these moves now and to get out ahead of it. Just to frame up the severity of what's about to happen.
Yeah, I think the key there, Tony, to what you're talking about is that we do need to try to stay ahead of it, right? I mean, we everything that's been done in this crisis that we've gone through, the concern has been that we haven't got out in front quickly enough, and we just need to get out in front of things.
What time you want to do the meeting on Tuesday?
Noon, does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Budget meeting is at
9.
9? Yeah, 9. Okay, that works.
Yeah, it'll give us time to take a deep breath after the budget meeting, kind of absorb some of those numbers, and then be able to talk about it more intelligently.
We have a conversation. Okay.
All right. New business.
New business. I have one supplemental appropriation. This is for the engineer in his contract projects line. He needs an additional 100,000. Keep his projects moving forward. And I have a resolution authorizing the updated Seneca County Prevention, Retention, and Contingency Plan on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services. I did ask Kathy to be on in case you had any questions about that. I can finish reading the resolutions, and then if you have any questions for her. A resolution authorizing Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into a contract with M&B Asphalt for pavement resurfacing projects. For the engineer, the bid amount was $1,369,102.74. 1369102.74. I have a resolution authorizing contract with Bruce Harris and Associates on behalf of the Seneca County Auditor's Office. This is for her real estate side, farmland calculation tools, and the ArcGIS. I have a resolution authorizing the disposal of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit county-owned property. This was a 1994 20-foot trailer on behalf of Seneca EMA. Put that up on Gov Deals, and we got $1,500 for it. I have a resolution authorizing Seneca County Job and Family Services to transfer best practice funds to Williams County Job and Family Services, and authorizing Kathy Oliver, Director of Job and Family Services, to sign this and other related documentation. And that's all I have.
Stacy, the last one, where Jobs and Family Services are transferring money to Williams County.
Yes.
Can you explain?
Tell you what that's about, Commissioner Kirschner. We are collaborating on a 12-county project to train protective services workers that protect kids. And that is just sharing funding to pay that vendor to train our staff. That's what that's for.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, by the way. Got the
Hey,
tree.
any excuse to get my Christmas tree up.
That's great.
Great. Steve, I know we're Mr. Chairman, I know we're waiting for a motion for approval, but it begs the question at this point, at what point do we cut off contracts? I know that most of these are the engineers, but are we going to entertain any new contracts, or are we cutting that process off for a period of time?
Yeah, I think one of the things we talked about last week is pulling all of our contracts and notifying everybody that we're going to be, terminating them, and we'll work back from zero. Other contracts, I guess it's as they go. I know, do we have one on here for the auditor, or is that?
That was the Bruce Harris
Yes.
contract.
So, that one's coming out of a separate fund that
Right.
to the renewal of the triennial. So, I mean, I guess it's just going to have to be one by one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I especially those that are from the general operating budget, right?
Right.
Okay.
What's the Stacy, do we send a letter? Is that the process to everyone, notification?
That's what I will
Formal
do
letter.
if you're ready for me to do that. I've been making a list of all the contracts we have in place to start getting some stuff out. I just need to go ahead from you guys to, start sending those letters.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate executive committee topic, contract discussions, is it not? No?
No, I don't. We can't discuss contracts, but I wouldn't mind having a brief executive session on personnel matters. But that's it.
Well, with regards to contracts, is there any reason we would not, as a county, at least notify all those that have contracts with us, given the situation we're in, that we are putting them on notice that we want to terminate the contract, and then we can always go into some discussion, right? But without the notice, then unless I'm missing something, it's implied that we're still in these contracts.
Yeah, because many of them, Tony, you're right. Many of them require a 30 or 90-day notification. Oh, you're right.
So do we need a motion for Stacy to do that, Commissioner Thomas?
I think as a point of order, we probably need to move to approve the adjustments that she just made, and then we can go into this discussion.
Okay.
All right. So I'll accept the motion to approve the business.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes. Okay, so the point of order on the existing contracts, to provide notification, we haven't discussed any of these contracts. We don't know what level of funding we're going to offer. We're not making any decisions, but to the extent available in any contract, we would be notifying them that our intent is to not renew, and then we will add back based on our discussions on April 7th and thereafter.
I'll agree with that statement, Commissioner, except to add that we're not notifying them of our intent not to renew. We're notifying them of our intent to cancel the contract under the terms of the contract.
Right. All right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think every language will be a little bit different.
Yeah, you're right.
And Stacy, you will consult the prosecutor on this?
Absolutely. I've talked to
And
him
then,
about a few.
So from a commissioner perspective, we are basically terminating all the contracts we have. And then to Commissioner Thomas's point, we can address each one individually and have a discussion as to what that means. But without this notification, we have to do this first. Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and just vote on that so we have it in the record. If you could roll call that, Nikki.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes. All right. I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss some personnel issues. But before we do that, I would like to, I want to thank everybody who's dialed in. This is unconventional, obviously, but now allowed by the state. And just for everybody's edification, I'm in the boardroom. There's no one else here. So social distancing and all that. We are recording this, and it will be preserved for posterity as our minutes. But before we go into executive session, if you guys are okay with that, I'd like to see if there's any comments or public comments or any questions from those in attendance. Jimmy, you're out there somewhere.
This is John DeVoli from NCOR COG and ESC. How you guys doing?
Hey, it's the census czar.
Yes. Hey, I appreciate your comments about the census at the beginning, Shane, Commissioner Thomas. And just want to remind everybody that we're still pushing it as best we can. We were going to have a big event, of course, yesterday and try to, make the big to-do of it, but we couldn't, all meet. And so what we're trying to do is push it out on social media. So all the folks, I see there's 32 participants right now. If they could push, this message, and also on our NCOR COG website, we have ways to easily fill out the petition online or using your smartphone. So please do that if you can. And also on behalf of the NCO ESC, the Educational Service Center right here in Seneca County and Tiffin, we're trying to push out as much information regarding the schools. The schools are doing a great job on that. But if anybody needs any particular information, be it mayors or commissioners and folks like yourself, they can contact the ESC directly via email or through my email. I'll make sure that we'll get it and get the information back out to you. If there's any questions regarding the schools and overall schools, more of generic questions for the whole school districts as a whole, rather than just one individual school district. We're doing a nice job, I believe, coordinating that with all the school districts in Seneca County and other counties as well. So once again, Census 2020, get everybody counted, even though we're out of home and all hold up, we still need to get everyone counted. So thank you very much for your time.
John, thank you for all you've done for the census. You guys have been great. Your personal investment in making sure the census was organized and advertised and events. I really appreciate all you've done personally. That's above and beyond. We're lucky to have you. All right, Audrey, are you talking?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. I just wanted to remind everyone about the resources that TSEP has available for all of our businesses, especially small businesses that are really struggling during this time, many that are not able to be open. So just again, go to tsepcoronavirus.com and you'll find what we've been working really hard to curate a simple list of all the resources that are out there from the national, state, and local level. There are grants, there are loans, there are all kinds of programs, there's things about unemployment. So please just go to that website. And then just one thing to highlight, next Tuesday, the 7th at 2 p.m., we are putting on another free webinar for businesses to come and figure out how they can access the resources, the grants and loans and everything that came with the CARES Act that was just signed into law on Friday. It's a very complicated act. It's long and detailed, and we have done our best to dive into it and figure out how businesses can benefit from it. And we're also going to have Ray Graves, our regional representative from SBA, on there as well. So if you're a business or a nonprofit organization that has any questions at all about how to access these resources, please tune into this webinar next Tuesday, the 7th at 2 p.m. But there will be a recording made of the webinar as well if you're not able to attend, that we can share with you. So just send any businesses that are struggling, that have questions, our way to our office. That's the Tiffin Seneca Economic Partnership, and we are happy to help in any way possible.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Kathy. I just wanted to say, even though our lobby in our Ohio Means Job Center is temporarily closed due to the pandemic, we continue to serve families through phone call, regular mail, email, portals, fax. We have a Dropbox. We are continuing to deliver all those services in a timely manner and meeting our state timeframes. So we're happy to help families. They just need to reach out to us. We have a lot of information on our social media and website as well. Thank you.
Hey, Kathy, with schools out of session, is that created some additional work for you? Just a high level answer. Yeah.
Jimmy, you need to unmute her.
All right. Thank you for the question. We are still continuing to protect kids and go out and investigate complaints as we need to. That has not increased at this time. However, there has been some additional applications for food assistance and medical and those sorts of things, and PRC benefits that the board just looked at the plan on. I just sent an update through email to Stacy about some of our increased numbers of applications. It was around 200 last month for public service, public assistance type applications, and right now we were at 400 for the month. So it has definitely increased.
All right. Keep your people safe.
Just one note on the census, going back to that very quickly. I am at best average with my computer abilities, and I can tell you that it took me less than 5 minutes to complete the census. So we all have, as you say, one gift at this point, and that is time. So hopefully everyone out there can log on, put their number in, and answer the questions in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I filled mine out early, and yeah, it was about 5 minutes. But then, you know, then my daughter moved home, so I should have waited.
Yeah. that begs the question about the Tiffin University and Heidelberg,
Crazy, yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
As it affects us. Yeah.
It does.
And it's easy to count in my household.
Anybody else have anything to add? So from a procedural standpoint, what we will do is we will pause this recording, and then we're going to go into executive discussion. We will call on my cell phone from the back office, and we'll have our conversation, and then we'll come back into session on Zoom, and then record coming out of session. I absolutely don't expect us to have any decisions coming out of executive session. It's purely to educate us on what what the ramifications of all this are as it relates to personnel. So don't expect any action.
Well, I want to congratulate Jimmy. It seems that he's kind of running the show here, mute and unmute, those kind of things. This certainly has come across a lot better than our trial run last week, right? So, and obviously Stacy as well. So thank you guys for the technology improvement.
Yes.
And thanks to the legislature for rallying quick and allowing us to do this and make it legal. So
Yeah.
it's technology long overdue.
I think Charlene wanted to say something.
Sure.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. So just wanted to let everybody know and get it out to the public that April is National Fair Housing Month, and regional planning has been given directive by the OCD and ODSA that we can do new ways of training and getting information out versus being in person. So we're in the process of putting some videos and training sessions on our website for fair housing, and we'll be making those public and putting them on Facebook as well. We'll also have information that we'll be distributing out to the community about fair housing and talking about discrimination with fair housing and what people's rights are. So we just want to make everybody aware of that. Like Kathy, our office is working remotely. We're still providing services, and we're still doing the best we can with what we have, and we hope everybody stays safe and sound. Thanks.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that Charlene and the executive committee for regional planning has been working hard to find ways to reduce their budget and right size their budget, and I think we'll have some positive news there going forward. So I appreciate your hard work on that, Charlene. Anything else? All right, we'll go into, I will accept a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel.
So move.
Tony seconded. Roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes. You got the time, Nikki?
Yes, 10:36.
Okay. Excellent. We don't expect any action, but thank you everyone for coming. We'll be back to sign off, but that'll probably be about it. Thank you.
Shane, are we calling or are you calling us?
I'll call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There we go. Okay.
All right, Nikki, you got the time, 11:30. We're back from executive session. Any other business? Okay, we're adjourned.